The following is a paid advertisement program provided by Premier Investments and Wealth Management. An airing of the program is not to be considered an endorsement or recommendation. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts, guests, and callers and not necessarily of this station or iHeartMedia. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. The information in the following program should not be construed as an offer to sell and is not intended to replace the advice of a qualified tax advisor or legal counsel.
Hello there, and welcome back to another edition of the Premier Investments and Wealth Management Financial Program. My name's Doug Wagner, I'm your host. I forgot to introduce myself last time completely, so here I am, right out of the box. My name's Doug Wagner. Introduce you to Roger Abel here in just a matter of moments. But before I do anything else, I want you to grab your tablet, your phone, your laptop. Maybe you're sitting at your desktop. Open your favorite browser and go to premieriwm.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, do the same thing. Go to premieriwm.com, click on Get Started, answer a few questions, and then from there, you'll be provided the one-page Premier Vision document. It's like a My Financial Confidence Score, really is what it is. Am I ready for retirement? Well, maybe you don't know. In fact, if you're like most Americans, you probably don't know. This will help you find out exactly how close you are, what you can do. And not only that, the neat thing about this Premier Vision document gives you actual goals. It gives you steps that you can take, short-term, medium-term, long-term, and it sets out different things for you. Very graphically oriented. If you want to get underneath the hood of this thing, you can. Sit down with my friends at Premier Investments and Wealth Management. Take the time to get the appointment with them because that's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to get your information. They'll put together this program for you, and then they'll ask you for an appointment. It's free. Take the time to sit down with them. They're not going to charge you anything. You don't have to bring a checkbook. You can just walk in with your car keys and your parka because it's cold. But then you get to take it off and sit down in the warmth and bask in the wonderfulness of the Premier Investments Vision document. Get in touch with them at premieriwm.com, or you can call to make your appointment now, 800-383-6590. Once again, my name's Doug Wagner, but he's Roger Abel. President and Wealth Advisor, Premier Investments and Wealth Management, over 21 years of experience in the financial services industry. He's an accredited investment fiduciary, and he is the big kahuna. Well, the people's eyebrow came out for that one.
Well, yours did. Glad you introduced yourself this time, Doug.
Yeah.
Good to be back. You know, it's a couple of days until the big guy shows up.
Yeah. I know. Joe Biden coming down I'm kidding. No, Santa Claus.
We're going to edit that out, right? Wow. Yeah.
It's fine.
Hopefully Santa didn't have too many cookies for Christmas.
Yeah. He gets stuck in the chimney. That can be kind of a difficulty. That's why you need an emergency fund.
Yeah. We went to took the kids to Santa Claus, and Santa asked for cookies, milk, and whiskey. I thought that was a great idea. We leave whiskey for Santa in our house.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we have that little tray. There's carrots for the reindeer, cookies for Santa, milk, and then we added a whiskey spot.
Nice.
Most Santas like whiskey.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
That I know.
That's a very good idea.
But, you know, it's kind of a fun time of year. I really enjoy getting together with all the family and the food. We don't do a whole lot of gifts other than the kids now. Adults don't do the gifts, but man, it's so much fun to big food spread.
Oh yeah,
good cocktails.
Do you do the holiday, the Christmas photograph, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day photograph like some people do?
What's that?
That's one of the things where they suggest you do that now. If you got a big group of people getting together, do a theme photograph like your Christmas pajamas, or maybe everybody just gets dressed to the nines, or maybe you do just street clothes, but a red and green theme, or do something where you have like you're holding up ho, 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 and just like all sorts of different graphics.
We don't do that. Probably mainly we go to church right before we do dinner. So we go to 4:00 church. So right when we come back, then we have the whole night. Although this year we're going at 2.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's even better because now
Yeah.
Because we host.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get back, have a little bit of time to set up before everybody rolls in. And when we go to church at 5, it's 6.
Yeah.
The kids are anxious and ready to go. And we like to, have the hors d'oeuvres and have a cocktail. The kids are like, presents, open them up.
Yeah.
dinner.
It's so strange because when I was a kid, it was always Christmas morning, and I run into all these families who do the Christmas Eve thing. I'm like, where did that come from, the Christmas? I never understood that one. I remember years waiting at the door, the door from the upstairs to the downstairs separated that. Everybody's sitting in the steps waiting at the door until Dad finally said, okay, come on downstairs.
Now, we do Christmas morning with our immediate family,
Right,
so
right.
my kids, but Christmas Eve is with typically with my wife's in-laws. We host them, and then we all alternate with my parents. And usually, though, we've been going to my parents on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
We go over there for the afternoon, and
That's cool.
yeah, we have a great time
Yeah.
and eat cookies. And
You all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah because that falls on Christmas. The beginning of Hanukkah falls on Christmas Day this year. So just as an FYI, the one thing we hope that does not happen to you is that somehow you get lambasted by fraud, whether it's fraud or identity theft. That's one of the things that's most prevalent, especially in this time of year. Holiday scams are really horrible, Roger. I mean, they can really take a lot of the bite out of the goodness of the holidays.
I just read an article about some of those common scams, and the one, most of these now are being perpetrated via email. And it's really phishing, trying to get you to click on stuff or text messages. So one of the ones that I've seen a lot in my inbox is you have a delivery, can't get delivered, click here. They get a text message about my delivery. Well, they're just trying to scam me.
Right.
And you know what? How many people, and it says it's from UPS or FedEx or USPS. Well, everybody has something coming now.
Yeah.
So how do you know what's real and what's not?
Yeah.
And
I got another one too. Is like, hey, are you going to make it to the holiday party tonight? Let me know. I have no clue who this person is. It says you may not know this person. Report junk. Report junk. If that name doesn't come up along with the phone number, if you get a text message from somebody who's asking you that, then you got issues.
I had one this isn't the other day. This is probably like 6 months ago.
Okay.
It was, hey, are you coming to the barbecue this weekend? And I didn't know the person. I said, no, but thanks for the invite. And then they wanted to get more conversational. What's
Right.
your name? And guess what I hear immediately?
Yeah. What's your exactly.
Junk and block.
You know what? All those nice things that supposedly happen, like the grandma.
By coincidence? Nah.
Yeah, the grandma who unintentionally invited the young black man from the the poor neighborhood, and he's been coming to their house ever since. True story. It ain't going to happen to you. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's somebody trying to take your identity. I actually, in my morning show, I actually did a segment with my friend Chip Lupo from Wallet Hub and WalletHub.com. And they do a lot of these studies, and a lot of them are financial related because I get a lot of information from them when it comes to protecting my credit and my identity. They help out with that. Really interesting. The states with the most identity theft and fraud. District of Columbia is number 1. Go figure, a lot of fraud in D.C. Delaware, the home of credit cards. All the credit card companies are based in Delaware. Then it's California, South Dakota, Florida, number 5, Nevada, Connecticut, Arizona, and number 9 and 10 are Texas and Iowa. You talk about 2 states that have little, if anything, in common. Texas and Iowa, you've got all the open area in Texas, but you've got all the big cities, the Houston, the San Antonios, the Dallas. And in Iowa, we've got a bunch of farmland, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Dubuque, Davenport, Des Moines, Sioux City, and Council Bluffs.
So what's shocking, didn't you say South Dakota was in the top 10 too?
Yeah.
Part of me...
Credit card capital of the country.
Well, here's what it makes me wonder. So most of the states you listed, is it by incident or by...
They have the identity theft rank, fraud rank, and policy rank.
What's it ranked by, though? Like, is it how many instances they had, or is it per capita?
No, it's they depict the rank of that state, the best and worst metrics for. D.C. doesn't allow parents or guardians to put security decrees on minors' credit reports. It also doesn't have an identity theft passport program, and so they go through and how it...
Okay, so it's the states that are most prone, that haven't protected their people.
Well, and with the most identity theft and fraud, and here's the reasons why. Yeah, so it's incidents of identity theft.
So
and
here's
fraud.
what it makes me just think. You mentioned 2 states that are relatively low population states. And, I'm always looking for the psychological aspect.
Yeah.
Is some of that because people from South Dakota and Iowa are fairly trusting people? Inherently, I feel like people from those states don't believe people are out to defraud them.
Right.
Go to lots of cities in Iowa and South Dakota. I bet there's a lot of cars in driveways that they don't lock the doors.
Oh, I'll bet you there's some with keys in them.
20 years ago, I used to leave my keys in the driveway overnight in my car.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. Now, today, would I do that? No. But have I left my car unlocked out front? Yeah, I've left the windows down on the thing. I only know because it rained and got my seat all wet. It's usually after I go fishing. I back the boat in. I have the windows down. And
you're not thinking
I'm in a
about
hurry, and oh man, I left the window down and it got dewy or rain in my car or snowed in my car, even worse. But I just think that people in some of those states are inherently trusting. And, in my career doing this, I have seen this happen. Unfortunately, I've seen this to multiple clients and non-clients or parents of clients where they have been scammed or taken advantage of financially.
Identity theft there's a difference between fraud and identity theft. Okay, fraud's one thing, identity theft is the other. This is the thing that's interesting. Iowa ranks 3rd out of the 50 states in Washington, D.C. in identity theft. And what's interesting about it is that they have the greatest incidents per 1,000 people. But the second thing, they have the largest average financial impact was over $19,500 per incident. That's huge. There's a buddy of mine. This is really something.
Imagine a financial plan that's as individual as you are. At Premier Investments and Wealth Management, our team of experienced advisors will work closely with you to create a roadmap tailored to your dreams, whether it's buying a home, retiring comfortably, or starting a business. We believe in transparency and education. We'll help simplify complex financial concepts, provide clear guidance, and empower you to make informed decisions. Financial wellness is within your grasp. Visit www.premieriwm.com to schedule a meeting with an experienced advisor today.
Roger Abel with Premier Investments and Wealth Management, premieriwm.com. That's him. I'm going to have him give you the telephone number to call and make an appointment so they can sit down and talk with you. Really, this is one of the things that they will go over with you as part of your financial future is what are you doing to help protect yourself? The two-way authentication is something that's critical. There's a lot of us who are just not using that because we're like, it really takes an extra 30 seconds. I'm not going to do it. Believe me, they will detail for you how that can save you time, money, aggravation, and, I don't know, the loss of your identity to somebody else. Call to get in touch with them so to make the appointment. You can do it at premieriwm.com or you can make the phone call.
800-383-6590.
I have a buddy whose mother-in-law years ago, just within the past 4 or 5 years, he got a call from FedEx because the guy that runs a FedEx branch knows him. Says, "Hey, I need you to come out here. I got something to talk to you about." He's like, "Okay." So he goes out there, and they have a package that his mother-in-law was attempting to send to somebody, and says, "Does this address look familiar?" He goes, "No, it doesn't, because it was a foreign address. It doesn't look familiar." And so he said, "Well, you may want to open that up." What happened is that it was a magazine, but in between each page of the magazine were $100 bills, many multiple $100 bills.
That's how they wanted it to be sent.
Yeah. And it was something where the fraud had been committed. Because she was trying to help out somebody who she thought was a friend. And they said, "Hey, you can't mail money anymore. So here's a way you can mail money." So it was through an online and IM, somebody that had stolen identity theft on the other end. And it was just by the grace of God that this FedEx guy knew him and said, we weighed this, and it was supposed to be like the contents was a magazine. We know that there was something wrong with that, and I would imagine they have something else to sniff around there too. They'll go after seniors, Roger. That's the thing. That's
who they go after.
Suck.
You know what? And it's no fault of a senior, but inherently we trust that people are good people. And at some point we all have a level of diminished capacity to make decisions. It's just the truth. And that's who predicates most of these, whether it's a romance scam or a straight up fraud or just tricking you. And now it's even easier to trick people because everything looks so real. AI is going to make this even more difficult. And I'm going to give you an example. My wife gets phone calls from all of these people. And, you know, she's like, I'm just every day getting calls. I said, be really careful what you say on the phone. She goes, why? I said, well, they can record your voice and start patching together words and sentences and then use that to either commit a fraud against somebody else or some systems has voice recognition. You give them enough words. You don't think AI can beat voice recognition?
Right.
There's a lot of things that can happen, and everything looks more and more real every single day. I've had incidents with people I know, their parents, clients' parents, who Jamaican lottery scam. They were driving and sitting in the Walmart parking lot to get their check delivered. Literally, they said, hey, send us $20,000, meet us in the Walmart parking lot, and they would sit there for all day and wait for their check to get delivered. And fortunately, the kids got a conservatorship on the estate.
Yeah.
But to this day, that parent still believes they won the lottery. And if they asked them to go give them money and go sit at the parking lot, they would go there and wait because they think they won the lottery. And here's what happens. Starts out, hey, we need to pay the tax. It's $1,000. Doesn't show up. Oh, there's actually more. Pretty soon, you've got 40, 50,000 in this, and they ask for 3.
Right.
And what they're thinking is, I've already invested 40. I might as well just give them another 3.
They're pot committed.
It's like, it's like gambling. You're pot committed at that point, and it just gets higher and higher and higher and higher. That's the lottery scam that's out there.
And here's the other thing about this too, Roger, is that you have seniors who at that point, they're concerned because they don't want their kids to think they're mentally infirm, okay? Because they're concerned about having a conservator's space, having an independence taken away from them. So they're really not wanting to admit this at all. In fact,
they won't admit it.
No, this person, it took the presentation of the evidence in order to make it say, oh, well, yeah, that's me. I did it.
I have a situation where unfortunately we deal with it. There's only so much we can do. We can't just start calling people up and say, hey, so-and-so's getting scammed. There is one thing that everybody listening to this call should go talk to their advisor, their financial institution about. Say find out if you have the ability to add a trusted contact. And here's what a trusted contact is. It's not somebody that we can share account information with, but it is somebody that if we believe you're being scammed or you have mental incapacity or we're seeing diminished capacity, we could contact and say, hey, I think mom or dad is getting scammed. You need to have a conversation with them.
That, my friends, is your golden nugget of information. If you've listened to nothing else all day, you've gotten 17 minutes into this and you're saying, that's it.
Trusted contact.
Had no clue.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you why. I have a situation where I still work with a mom and husband, married couple. Husband died. Husband did all the stuff.
Right.
So mom took it over. I also worked with the daughter. Never had a trusted contact. Didn't want to have a trusted contact. I get a call one day. Well, I think the office got a call and she asked for $5,000. I'm like, well, whatever, 5,000, that makes sense. Distribution. Well, exactly 2 weeks later, she called back and asked for 15. And this is a person who'd never taken any money out, and they don't have a big account, so 15,000 isn't like going to hurt them. But it's like, okay, you took 20 in like 2 weeks. What's going on? So just, hey, I'm sending some family members some money. Okay. They took distributions. The third time she called, wanted the check sent to a place in Africa.
Oh.
And I said, okay, what's going on? She goes, well, I'm just, I found a long lost cousin. I'm just trying to, to help him out. I said, well, I said, are you okay? And she goes, because I didn't want to offend her and say, I think you're getting scammed. I just said, are you okay?
Yeah. Well, that's a wellness check that you made. That's awesome.
I said, are you okay? And she goes, well, yeah, I think so. Why do you ask? I said, I'm concerned that you're getting taken advantage of. And she paused and she said, I sure hope not.
Ooh.
And took the $50,000 this time out, sent it away. it was the last time she took any money out. So hopefully I triggered it because I can't stop somebody.
Right.
I didn't send the money to Africa. I said, you have to like send it to your bank account. We're not sending checks to Africa or anything crazy. But her daughter was a client.
However,
had the daughter been a trusted contact, I could have called her after the first time and said, hey, this is totally out of pattern.
Right.
Think mom's getting scammed. They can have the conversation.
Yeah.
Daughter was not a trusted contact. Nothing I can do.
because otherwise you're breaking the law.
I'm not allowed to
breaking
share
the law.
information.
Yeah,
Like,
can't do
you know,
that.
we've had situations where we've alerted our back office, said, hey, we believe these people are getting scammed. So they try to, deal with it. And some people know it and they just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
We can
that's
watch
amazing.
patterns of people.
It's funny. I'm going to give you a really good example of this too. And this is something, because these are all examples, real life examples, somebody that I know and I love very
I've watched
much.
people lose it all, Doug.
Oh, no, I know.
All of it.
It's, there's only one thing worse than going to Vegas and putting all your life savings on red or black. It's having somebody steal it from you, and it's unwittingly you're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay? Somebody I love very dearly said, hey, I need you to pick up some eBay gift cards on the way home, would you please? I'm like, sure, no problem. Said, they said, okay. And then they said, specifically, I need, because they had different colors, I need this color, this color, this color, in these denominations. Said, all right, cool, no problem. I'm thinking, they're giving them gifts. Come home, here you go. And then, little ring would say, okay, hey, I need you to go back. Those are the wrong ones. So I need you to go out and get some other ones. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. And then I get in the car and I'm driving there. I'm like, I turn around, I go back. I said, what's this for? Said, oh, well, DirecTV called me and they've got this special, but they're doing an online giving thing. So they will reduce your bill if you give them these eBay credit cards. I'm like, you're getting scammed. No, you're not. I said, if you want these, you go out and get them. I'm not touching this. And that's what it was. And it's people who are incredibly intelligent individuals are getting scammed.
They're good at it.
Yeah.
They're good at their craft. The scammers are good at their craft. They know how to trick you.
They only need 1%. If they make 100 contacts a day and they hit one person up for $19,000,
Yep.
How much do you make $20,000 a day? No.
The romance scams are the scariest. I had a gal that she became a client probably like 20 years ago. And it was all she had with me is an insurance policy.
Right.
That was it. Never had any investments, nurse her whole life. And about 5 years after I helped her with her insurance, just life insurance policy, I got a letter. So this would be back in like 2009. I got a letter from, is it the Medicaid office? Verifying her
CMS,
assets. Yeah, CMS saying, hey, just want to verify that she doesn't have any assets and what the value of this insurance contract is. So I called her up and I said, hey, what happened? Because last time I talked to her, she had like $750,000 that she's just left in her 401k. She goes, well, I gave it all the way to a guy in Michigan. Romance scam, gave away all of her money to somebody in Michigan. And if I profiled the individual, she'd never been married. She's a little lonely. She was retired, found someone that gave her some attention. Next thing you know, gave it all away.
That's heartbreaking.
It is. And she was sad about it, but not as sad as I thought she was going to be.
Here's the thing, though, is that it's that time of year, Roger, where you have the opportunity to sit down with your seniors in your life. And maybe, the last show we talked about individuals who were divorced. Maybe you've got a widow or a widower. The seniors in life, if you're a child or your grandchild even, it's not a bad idea to open up this conversation, and you can do it. You don't have to blunt force them, just like hit them with it. You can say, you know what? I was listening to this program with Roger Abel, and he said that it's 20% more fraud is being committed this year than last year, and it's mostly seniors over 60 years old that are really getting hit by it. It's okay to have the conversation. And just, I think the way you said it, are you okay?
Yeah. And here's why I think it's people over 60. They still answer their phone.
Yeah.
If you call someone under 40 years old on the phone, they don't answer. They're going to take a text message from somebody they know. Otherwise, it's just spam to them.
Right.
And I know because I get all these calls and it's all spam. So I just stopped answering. If I don't know who it is, I don't answer. They leave me a voicemail. I may or may not call them back.
It's funny. I'm sitting here looking, and out of the last 30 calls that I have, there are only 2 that don't have names associated with them, and they both went to voicemail. Because that's the way I do it, in the same way. And they're also easy prey, too, because, especially if, maybe they are a little bit lonelier, because seniors tend to be, more alone, especially, again, divorced, widower.
Especially at the holiday time.
Yeah.
They want someone to talk to. They're lonely. They miss their spouse. Like, someone called me. I'm going to talk to him. Be nice to him. Well, next thing you know, we know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And so just a couple of tips. If there's an organization you want to be charitable to, you reach out to the organization. Yes. Don't let them reach out to you. Call them, say, how do I donate money? I would like to be charitable. If they told you you won a prize and you didn't enter a contest, how could you win the prize? I'll give you how much my radar goes, Doug. This is 2011. My wife comes home. Hey, just got an email. I won the $5,000 shopping spree at Ashley Furniture. And I go, no way.
You didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. She goes, no, I won. I go, how do you know? I got an email. I said, call down there and verify that you won. Don't click that email.
Yeah.
Because my radar is just up from email. Sure enough, she won the prize. She did enter. She did win the $5,000 shopping spree, which, turned into a lot more because they made a customer.
Yeah. Congratulations.
But that's how much my radar goes up.
Right.
Like, why would they select you? Why did you win? You know what the chance of winning any of this stuff is? It's almost none.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you think you won a prize, you didn't. The other thing, scammers pressure you. I'll give you an example. My wife got one the other day from healthcare.gov, they said.
Yeah.
I go, this is a scam. He goes, no, I'm with healthcare.org or I'm with the health plan. He's like, you have to renew. I go, no, I don't. I know the rules. But he was very high pressure trying to convince me he was not a scammer. He's like, how could I be a scammer? I'm with Medicare or whatever, the Affordable Care Act and all this stuff. I'm like, you're a scammer. But no, I'm not. I'm with this. I'm trying to be very convincing.
Yeah.
If they pressure you, they're trying to scam you. And then you hit the number one thing on the head.
Yeah.
They tell you to pay a specific way.
That's weird.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's convoluted. Like,
put these $100 bills between the magazine pages.
if they're trying to tell you to pay them in a way that can't be traced, there's a reason why.
eBay card. By the way, so I went back just to verify. I took the eBay cards back and I said, hey, I need to verify how much is on them. They said nothing. They already had liquidated them. They had already liquidated within seconds of having those.
I have a friend of mine that's in 2010, 2011, identity stolen, lived in Washington, D.C., ironically. They wiped out his bank account.
Wow.
Maxed out every credit card in a 2-hour period of time. No money. So be very, very, very careful.
Don't do anything immediately, too. And here's the number one thing as well. When you do get your phone up and you do have that on there, you see those, block this caller. If you've got the ability to block these,
Everybody does. You can hit block call on every single one.
I know. And here's the other thing. Just like pick it up and you're like, hello. And there's like this delay and I hear the rustling in the background. And I'm like, don't call me back. Take me off your list.
So one thing I do when they say, is this Roger? I don't say, yes, it is. Because I've given positive consent. They can record, yes, it is. Now I have voice recognition. I say, who is this?
Yeah.
Who's this?
Right.
So the bank, my bank the other day called. Is this Roger? I said, who's this?
Yeah. It's the bank.
And, okay, now I know you, but if you told me you're somebody else, I'm not giving you any information about me. You don't need to know if it's me.
This is great. We got to wrap up the show here, but please do take care of the friends and family that you know. Help them avoid scams and identity theft. Make sure you talk to the seniors in your life gently about this too, if you would, please. For Roger Abel, I'm Doug Wagner. PremierIWM.com is the website. Go over there, make your appointment with Premier Investments and Wealth Management today.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Premier Investments and Wealth Management and LPL Financial do not provide tax advice. Please consult your tax professional. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies strategies promoted will be successful, there's no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. All performance referenced is historical and is not a guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal.